Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Podcast. I'm your host, JB. Before I go ahead and introduce my guest, obviously, go check me out over at talesfromthepodcast.com. You can find all the links there. Like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure you guys are just loving hearing about it every fucking week. The only thing I really care about, though, is buy this fucking comic book. I mean, it's cool. I mean, you can use it as a placemat. My buddy Chuck, if you know him, he likes to jerk off on his. So if you like things that you can just jerk off on, I suggest buying Tales of Shock and Terror. From what I've been told, it's some of the best material you can get. So with that being said, this episode is going to be a very interesting one, and we are going to be figuring out how to talk about it as we talk about it. For those who don't know, it's going to be a tough one. But let me introduce my guest for this week, my buddy Jeff.
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going. It is going. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I
Yeah?
watched the movie, so I'm ready.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy that you did. I'm kind of excited to talk about it and nervous to talk about it because I don't know exactly how it's going to work out.
I have the same feeling. I have the same feelings right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a interesting one to discuss, to say the least. Um, with that being said, though, for those who don't know, we are going to be talking about a movie from 2008. It is the follow up to one of my favorite movies that I've ever got to talk about, from directors and writers Rick Popko and Dan West, where you are talking about the sequel, or it's not really I guess you could say it's a sequel to Monsturd called RetarDEAD. And for those who want to watch this movie, I will say it is free on Tubi. And I strongly suggest watching this movie free on Tubi.
Yes.
I mean, it's like I said, it's going to be a hard one to talk about. It's going to be interesting to discuss in general. And I will say, this is going to be fun. For those who don't know, here's the movie that we are doing. And I will say it was pretty cool that they definitely had some of the iconic EC vibes going on there.
Yeah, definitely.
So to get into this a little bit, we got, like I said, directors and writers Rick Popko and Dan West. Rick is he's done a decent amount of things here. When I say that, I mean it's all definitely independent, and it's all. Yeah, it's definitely independent, that's for sure. And everything he's done has been, basically within the same people. So in Monsturd, he was Deputy Rick. In RetarDEAD, he was also Deputy Rick. He was also the porn actress and another doctor in the episode too. He was also.
I thought that was also him because I'm like, wait a minute, but it
Yes.
makes sense when you have a limited number of people and you're trying to get something done.
You say that,
take
but
on multiple
the
roles.
cast was surprisingly very large for this.
It actually was. Maybe they just couldn't get anybody to do it. And he was like, "Screw it, I'll do it. Give me the wig."
Right. But Monsturd, Rectuma, RetarDEAD, and the God Complex are the four movies that both these men have had the privilege to do. And I mean, one after another, I mean, they've been full of fucking surprises and just a lot of fun to actually sit there and check out. As far as a lot of the cast here, I mean, the cast is surprisingly very large for what it is. Um, and a lot of the people actually didn't really go on to do too much afterwards. Um, I'm trying to think if anybody actually went on to like do bigger things. Like Dan Burr, he's been in a few things, but most of them have been through the same people. So obviously, a lot of
Mhm.
these people are friends.
Right.
Molly Solashki, she's done a few things from since then, but I mean, not a ton. She did a few things before this, and then a few independent films after this as well. Um, Jello Biafra done a few things. Definitely done a little bit more on the soundtrack side, which he did some of the Grindhouse stuff and Planet Terror, and
Okay.
he was actually on the soundtrack for Natural Born Killers. So he's probably
Hmm.
definitely a little bit higher up than some of the other people in this one for sure.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way.
You know, trying to think if anybody else really, I mean, had a lot to do after this. I know that a few of them went on to, like I said, just a few other, small roles and a lot of independent stuff. Let's see. As far as like probably the most acting credits, you got Heidi Honeycutt in this, and I mean she's done quite a few different, TV shows. I'm pretty sure that actually I'm positive after looking at her what she did in this episode.
Mhm.
She may or may not have been one of these girls. So
It's quite possible. Quite
no, she
possible.
she was.
She was. Okay.
And do you
Okay.
want to guess what kind of acting she did?
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean that's where we are in this. So
Basically anything that was behind the swinging doors in the old video stores.
yes, 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 or curtains. Some of them had curtains.
Hmm.
All right, so I, the talk about a plot synopsis for this is going to be really, really difficult for me to break it down. I mean, this is going to be a hard one in general to talk about without saying things that are going to really piss people off.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
let's
it's a
see.
minefield.
The plot synopsis on IMDb says the evil Dr. Stern returns armed with a lethal intelligence serum that yields horrific results at the Butte County Institute for Special Education. And may I go ahead and add in there that I don't think they've ever referred to it in the movie as special education. Maybe once,
Mm,
maybe. Like they were
I
pretty
think
blunt.
once. I think once they referred to the center as the Center for Special Education, and that's about it.
Yeah,
The people
anytime they refer
inside,
to
they
the
did
people,
not refer to that.
no, not at all.
Well,
And they hit it with every fucking stereotype that you could possibly have hit.
yeah. I mean, the doctor did say, people call you special, but I don't see you as any more than just test subjects. So he didn't outright call them that, but the cops were definitely very clear about
Yes,
throwing
yes.
that certain R word around blatantly.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Um, Now I guess this right here is definitely a continuation, like I said, of Monsturd. And in this, we find out that the doctor has kind of disappeared. They haven't been able to find him. And he's kind of working on his next project, as you know, obviously,
Mhm.
from the plot synopsis, is this intelligence serum. And while this is all going on, there's a different perp that the police are after at the moment. Jeff, what is his name?
Oh, I'll take this one. He is a sexual deviant running around assaulting people called the Weenie Wagger.
You just gotta love that name. Like, and all the thought put into it. So with these policemen going after the weenie wagger who keeps calling and taunting them, calling them piggies and oinking at them over the phone.
Yeah, calling them pig fuckers and just like, okay, all right, Black Christmas.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty rough. Well, as this is all going on, we get this whole side story about this special education school, and Dr. Stern ends up getting a job there, and is able to give all these kids the serum. And through the process of doing everything, these they're not kids, they're adults. They get
Mhm.
much more intelligent. And I mean, it doesn't last very long before it gets out of hand. You know, they go from
Right.
basically barely being able to speak correctly to doing very, very high end mathematical equations. Um,
Requesting wine at their lunchtime instead of just chocolate milk.
right. Which, I mean, no offense, but intelligence doesn't change your palate.
No,
Like,
no.
I mean, I'm sure the smartest guy in the world still enjoys a chili dog.
Yeah, there are people out there in Mensa who probably eat Kraft mac and cheese every night for dinner.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because nobody wants to hire a fucking smart, arrogant prick like them. Who wants to work with the guys like, oh, I'm in Mensa all the time? Like, yeah, fuck that guy. You don't want to do that,
Yeah, right, Brainiac.
right?
Oh, I'm in Mensa. Ooh, I'm so smart.
And, I don't know if you
The
were a
genius
fan.
community is gonna come after me now.
What- it just reminds me of the. I'm not sure if you're a fan of them or not, but the. Do you remember Eric Andre show?
Yes.
Remember when he went to ask Mensa questions dressed like a knight?
No. Oh, I gotta seek that out because
Yes.
I wasn't a fan at first, but then it grew on me the more I watched it.
He's one of those people. It's kind of like Tim and Eric. Like it's just one of those things where it's like, huh? And then you got to give it a little bit of time, and it grows on you.
Yeah.
And then it turns to just completely just being fucking hilarious.
Not to sidetrack too much, but it was one of those things on Adult Swim that kind of got back to why I originally started watching Adult Swim, the weird random ass shit that didn't make
Exactly.
sense.
I loved it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, but no, the whole Mensa thing just made me think of that. Sorry. But yeah, and eventually though, these adults end up basically losing their shit, turning into zombies fairly quickly, and having to be chained up into a different room.
Hmm.
Now, there's a teacher, though, who kind of saw this change going on and was trying to figure out what was going on and follow them. And upon opening the door after the doctor left and seeing these people who are now green, chained up, cannot speak, and have blood on them, I mean, clearly looks like there's an issue. She still decides to unchain one of them.
Yeah, I immediately was like, "You idiot!
Yeah.
Look at them. They're pallid. They're gray. They're no. Leave
No,
them
yeah.
there."
Yes, exactly.
I mean, the whole thing with them getting out of this virus spreading is her fault.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 100%. I
I
mean,
mean,
this
you
is
can blame the doctor for experimenting, but he had it contained. If she didn't go in there and start letting them
right.
out,
So remember, mind your own fucking business. You see somebody messing with a group of mentally disabled people, don't open your mouth. Don't go see what's going on. Just let it be what it is and walk away. If you've learned anything from this movie,
if they get smarter and become zombies, wait it out
at least 48 hours.
at least 48 hours.
So, yeah. So, as this is happening, they end up figuring out about the doctor because the janitor happens to be the weenie wagger. And,
Just-
and ends up teaming up with the police to take down the zombies.
the police not only team up with the pervert, but they ultimately have to team up with the doctor, sort of.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
But when he shows them like, hey, here's how you can kill them, just a bullet to the brain. He's like, they're like, what's your solution? He goes,
The
bullets.
everyday common bullet.
Yeah, and they're like, like blown away. I'm like, guys, come on, come
Yeah,
on.
then he had a serum. Just one dose.
One dose. One
Right.
dose.
Yes. Yeah. And then his plan was to just basically contain everybody in one room at the morgue. Which, I mean, honestly, that is kind of like, as far as zombie movies go, that's one of those moves that would ruin any fucking zombie movie.
Mhm.
It's like, well, we could just contain them here. I'm like, oh, that just makes too much sense. That would never happen in a movie.
Yeah.
But I will say I like the fact that they go there, and during that process, the doctor does escape, and then we get a weird cutscene, a very very weird cutscene, because apparently these mindless zombies are all attacking and mindless, except for 6 women zombies who,
Have an impromptu dance number?
yeah,
What
very
the
impromptu
fuck?
dance number, and try, they're like rubbing themselves and circling the doctor, trying to seduce him, I think. I
With
don't know how this one
yeah,
works. I've never seen those kinds of zombies in movies.
I've never seen those zombies before. Now I've seen, Return of the Living Dead zombies. Someone will give me crap for this. I've seen the 28 Days Later zombies.
Or infected.
I've never, and technically we could actually say these aren't really zombies, they are infected.
That's fair.
So a little more in line with 28 Days Later, but
Yeah.
I have never seen how do I want to phrase this without being offensive? Sexually aggressive, impromptu dance number, seductive zombies.
That's fair and strangely accurate, and really hard for anybody who's not seen this movie to probably comprehend that happened.
I mean, we got there and I was just like, wait, did this switch to a different wait, that's the doctor. What
Yeah.
happened? And then I was
No.
like, oh, this is part of it. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. It makes no fucking sense. I
uh
I don't understand, dude. I
between
really don't.
this and the lone FBI agent,
Yeah.
I mean, we know there would be more than one FBI agent on this case.
No, no, no. They're just focused.
Just one who I think was actually on the Monsturd case or something.
Yes, yes,
Because she
yes.
knew everything.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I just to continue this off, so we can actually start talking about some of the things that we actually liked about it and get through the plot itself. Like, so after this very seductive way of killing this man, which I mean is basically just rubbing themselves in a circle until they get close enough to jump on him. Well, they end up
pretty
taking him
much.
out, and from there, it basically goes. I think it goes pretty quick after that. We end up getting our big bad final fight scene with all the police, and the weenie wagger, just killing zombies left and right until they're basically done, and everyone's covered in blood. They're all kind of excited, and then we get this little news thing going on when they're talking about it, and they're letting people know that the area has been quarantined and to just wait it out for 48 hours because it's a virus and everything can be back to normal.
What I like about that is it's not just like a newscaster breaking in like an NPR voice. It's, oh, hey, out there in Butte County, if you've been in the quarantine area, just wait out the virus. It's only going to last for 48 hours. Like, why is the top 40 guy giving us the information?
I don't know. I like it though. It's
Oh,
like getting your
I liked
serious
it. It
news
was
from
just
Casey Kasem type thing. It sounds great. Like
and now
well, I think we should get all of our serious news in that kind of manner. But
actually it would be a lot easier to take probably.
probably now, I am very curious on your thoughts, views, opinions of this movie, as well as your rating. How you're going to talk about it, though, is going to be up to you.
I'm gonna dance around the most egregious of subjects.
I mean,
Uh,
I, I, I'm starting to think that Leanne didn't have anything to do. She just didn't want to have to discuss this one live.
I actually don't even know if she looked up what this movie was. I told her what it was, and then she reminded me she had something going on today, so she's not even at the house right now.
She's
She
just
is
sitting on
out.
the porch. She's like, God, I'd slip up. I know I'd say the R word. No, I'm joking. No, but
Uh,
let's hear what you guys think. Like, what do you think about this one?
okay, I'm going to start by saying it's definitely a product of its time.
2008.
2008, 15 years ago, was a very different time for independent film.
That's really crazy
So,
when you think about it, though.
yeah, it's not that long ago when you really think about it, but the way things have changed, not only from like the quality of recording, the ease of access to equipment to make things look a little better. Not that this looked bad, but you could tell it was done, low budget. But they were pushing the envelope on things and just throwing out humor that was much more rampant around that time. I mean,
Yeah.
you could look back, even mainstream television was kind of dancing around, you know, special education, special needs people and calling them certain things, treating them a certain way. So
Yeah, they definitely were
I'm not
already
saying
kind
it
of
was
pushing that
I'm not
out.
saying it was a great time, but it was more commonplace and I guess more accepted before so many people were like, "Wait a second, we probably shouldn't marginalize these people even if they can't understand a lot of it." And that's no offense to anyone who is special needs. I'm just saying anyway.
What are you saying, Jeff?
What I'm trying to get at is I had fun watching this movie despite the content, despite how offensive in nature a lot of this can be to a lot of people.
I think
I
that's really speaking about our age more than
I
anything.
I'm 43, but mentally I'm 6. I'm fucking 6. All right. That's where my humor is. Okay, someone makes a poop joke, I laugh. I fart in public, I laugh. That's just me.
You know, I get in trouble with my wife a lot because she's not a big fan of poop jokes or fart jokes either. But I will say there's something still weirdly funny about them.
Oh yeah. We will never grow out of that phase.
No.
No. But I think despite a lot of the offensive stuff in the film, it's not as overtly offensive as other things I have tried to watch and turned off because that's all they were going for.
Like what?
There's something like gutter balls.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried, and the fact that it was just blatantly like so over the top sexist and just like, hey, sexual assault to start the movie, and we just hate women. I was like, I'm turning this off. I don't want to sit through this to get to what could be potentially good because I'm already over. Not only did you write this into your script, you didn't edit any of it. You're just letting it fly. And I look at the way a film is put together script wise and all that as a reflection of the filmmaker's kind of thoughts for the most part.
All
Now
right.
this wasn't like, hey, we hate this certain group of people. This was, hey, edgy humor. I get it.
Yeah, yeah, they weren't definitely they weren't directly just trying to make fun of anybody.
Right. They pushed the envelope as how far humor could go. I would
I
say
mean,
a lot of it is very similar to, if you look back at it Living Color, the handyman sketches. It's right along
yeah,
that lines. It's offensive, but it's like, okay, you know what? At the same time, it's like at that time, it was a little more mainstream and you could get away with it in a sense.
right. Well, I mean,
I mean, I
hmm,
did have fun with this. I did laugh the entire movie. I wasn't sitting there wanting to turn it off.
well that's good. That is good.
And it was bloody as hell. I love when there's low budget effects, and
The effects weren't bad.
no, the effects were not bad, and the amount of blood was great. The one teacher getting her throat bit when she
Okay.
released that one zombie, it was a pretty cool effect. I mean, there's the obvious cut there you could see, so they could get the effect in place. But once they did it, I was like, okay, okay,
Eh,
I see
I
where you're
mean,
coming from. I
like
mean,
I don't know the budget on this, and I mean, I'm sure I could find out. I'm positive I could. In fact, I mean,
They
not
they
this
made the
second,
best
but
of whatever they had.
yeah,
I'm going to say that
they did.
because
Yeah, there's no
that
arguing that.
effect, the one teacher or principal, whatever he was, getting ripped in half, reminiscent of
Oh yeah.
Rhodes from Day of the Dead. That's
Hmm.
immediately what I thought. I was like, okay, this is Captain Rhodes' death. They
Oh
didn't
yeah.
pull the two halves apart, but when they pulled the lower half away and he's still talking and kind of gurgling, I'm like, this is your nod to Captain Rhodes, even if it's in your subconscious. We know you've seen Day of the Dead at least.
Right.
So there's a lot of homages, but it was fun. This is definitely one that you don't show everyone you know. You show it to your friends you show it to your diehard horror fan friends who know where this is coming from. You throw
Yeah,
it on at like a Halloween party in the background. Now, is it a
that's
favorite
fair.
movie of mine? Am I going to revisit this every year around Halloween time? Most likely not. It's like a 2.5 star movie for me. I'll just throw it out there right now.
But would you say you would rewatch this again?
Oh, I would rewatch it. It's just not going to be like a yearly staple for me.
That's
But
fair. That's
if
fair.
I'm looking for something, I'm like, you know what? Let me watch this again. Maybe there's something I missed because I was watching
No,
this going,
I get
what
it.
are
I mean,
they?
it makes sense.
And watching it with a 2023 brain, like 2008 me would have been like, this is the fucking best thing I've ever seen. Oh my God. I
Right.
would have been telling people about it that I shouldn't have been telling people about.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I have.
Yeah. 2023 me is like, I know who I could tell about this, and I know definitely who I will not tell about this.
I don't know. I posted about doing this movie and everything else in a lot of groups. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to get everyone to watch this movie.
Yeah. I
But I mean,
mean,
you said 2.5 star though. I mean,
that's mostly
that's out of
just
three for
because
you,
of
right? Out of three? No, no, it's probably out of
that's
10, just like
that's
normal.
push. I'm going out of 5, so it's like
Out of 5? All right. Well,
yeah,
all right. All right. So out of 10, you would still get a 5.
yeah. It's about a
I
5 out
mean,
of
all right.
10.
That
So
that is fair. That is fair.
what kind of redeems it for me is not only the effects work, but you can see like the heart and the influences that they put into this. That they have a love of the genre and the fact that they never took themselves too seriously with this movie. They
Bro,
weren't
no.
trying to make some big statement, and it was basically like, okay, everyone else at this time is making zombie movies too. If you look back at 2008, damn near every independent film you saw, and some of the mainstream ones too, were fucking zombie films of some
Right.
sort.
Well, and
They're
I
like,
think
how
that's
can
part
we
of the
stand out or
reason.
be different?
Right. And don't get me wrong. Like, I haven't asked him. And, I did extend the invites out for certain people to be here. But I will say um, that with Monsturd, basically the creation of that movie happened because people watched these two men. I mean, if you look up these movies, you'll know exactly which two men I'm talking about. Saw Jack Frost and was
Mhm.
like, this is fucking stupid. Anybody can do this. So Jack Frost is basically, I mean, Monsturd is basically Jack Frost with a poop man instead of a snowman.
Yeah, I mean, the name is Jack Schmidt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good joke. It's a good pun. But once they said it, I was like, oh, I forgot about Jack Schmidt.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, okay.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if this right here was also just basically a kind of like a fuck you for them doing the whole zombie thing. And this is like their way of making fun of that.
It
You
very well
know,
could be. It's just, it definitely is something that stands out amongst all the other stuff. That was basically like, oh, hey, it's zombies in a prison. It's zombies in the hood. It's zombies in
I
the old
wish they made
west.
zombies in the hood.
They're gangs of the dead.
There you go. There you
I
go.
believe it's called Gangs of the Dead. I have not watched these movies, but I have seen so many of these titles from right around this time. It's like
There's a lot.
between 2005 and 2009, there were so many.
Oh yeah.
I
I
was
mean, we're
like,
just talking
I
the
was,
independent ones. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
there were bigger ones that came out then too, which is, I mean, this is fucking hard to keep up with.
If we want to
Um,
say that, we can go back to 2000 and start saying even.
yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I
I
will
mean,
say though, there was a lot of really cool things about this movie that we did not get to mention yet. First off, the opening, the
oh, I
the
thought I started
fake
watching the wrong movie. I was
The
like, wait a
fake
minute, what is going on?
previews are. I mean, clearly they were like, all right, well, we need to add time to make this a feature, and those fake previews are some of the coolest fake previews for stuff like ever. Like what was one of the things on there? It's like it's so awesome you'll shit yourself or something like that. It was fucking crazy. And I think Jeff, I think you DC'd. Are you still on here or no? Well, hopefully Jeff comes back, guys. So, anyways, they do these fake previews, which I mean, they're just fucking great. They do a great job with it. They have their own little intermission type thing that they're starting out with, which is fucking fun to begin with. But one of the cooler parts about this open narration is the fact that we get Herschel Gordon Lewis who does the voice for it, which is fucking great. So on top of everything, we got, a fucking genius fucking sitting there using his voice for us, which is, I mean, just really, really cool. You don't really get that kind of shit. There he goes. He's gone now. I'm sure he'll be back in a second. Hopefully. Maybe he's just like, fuck this movie. I don't want to talk about it no more. I mean, both are very possible. But past that, the gore is just fucking well done. That's for sure. And there's Jeff.
Sorry, apparently my computer decided to just restart on its own out of nowhere.
Oh, you're good. I mean,
so I'm on my phone right now till it boots back up, and then I can get back on a more stable connection here.
you're fine. I don't know how long we can keep talking about this anyway. But
it's what you said because I just heard a buzzing and then it dropped. I went,
oh, so I was talking about how cool these previews were, and some of the taglines. They're like, basically like, you'll shit yourself. This is scarier than fuck.
The previews were so good. Like I said, I seriously thought I had got the wrong movie.
Yeah, I wish they'd make the movies from those previews.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Did you notice who was doing the narration though?
No, I didn't catch who was doing the narration.
Herschel Gordon Lewis.
Was it? Oh my god. Okay, that's awesome. That is awesome. Sorry, like I said, I'm on my phone, so I'm trying to multitask here.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We'll just keep it moving. Yeah, which I thought was cool. Now, on top of that, the gore, the effects, everything was awesome. Now they do one thing in this movie that I have wanted to see in zombie movies forever. They get really close to touching the subject all the time, but nobody ever takes it as far as they did in this movie. They killed a baby. and we're eating it. And I mean, Rick, Popko, Dan West, thank you guys for killing a baby on screen and eating it. I love that. I can't believe they did it. It's so fucking fake. They really did.
The closest thing I can ever think of that in a zombie movie that came close to that was the original Dawn of the Dead, where Ken Foree had to kill the two kids. But this was like, how can we be even more crazy? Let's kill and eat a baby.
Right. It's basically like, let's think of the worst thing that's happened to a baby in movies. Probably Train Spotting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's up there with Serbian Film, which isn't really a baby, but
I have not seen that one, and from what I've heard, I don't really need to. I kind of know what's going on.
The next time is going to be a Serbian film that we talk about.
After that, we might as well go to full on snuff.
I mean, do the faces of death movies. look, we only talk about real shit here now.
Oh my god.
It's like, so Jeff, did you watch the fucking live action police camera footage I sent you? It's like,
no, I didn't.
This show's about to get really weird, guys. But I mean, it was still a fun movie, though. I will admit, I enjoyed this movie way more than I probably should have.
Yeah,
Um,
same. I've got another connection coming. So
yeah, I
okay,
know.
there we go.
I switched you over, took the other one down, so I didn't get as much feedback.
I'm back.
But yay! Now,
That I was waiting for it.
oh man, your internet's going. All right, well, we're just gonna hurry
I
up so we
think
don't
we're
lose
good.
you again.
Everything seems stable.
I'm gonna give
All
this
right.
movie a
No.
six
I'm
and a
here. I
half,
hear you.
7. All right, I'm still gonna give it a 6.5 or a 7.
Okay.
I
feel you on
I
that.
know
I
there's
feel you.
things in here that are inappropriate, if you will, and like I guess it kind of speaks for our age and stuff too. I mean, if you just look past it and look at the comedy that is there, there's a lot of fucking gold here. Offensive or not,
It really is.
it's just you could be the most woke motherfucker in the world. If you don't laugh at scenes in this movie, you're probably a garbage person, and I don't want you to be alive. Like there's things in here that are just fucking just they're funny as fuck. Like you can't not laugh. What?
Like there's so much about this that is funny. So much about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, I can't repeat like any of the lines from this movie. I mean, there's not a lot you can really even say about it. Like it's hard.
There's really not. It's so crazy. You can't repeat a lot of this stuff.
No, I mean, especially live and over podcasting and shit. I mean, people get fucking worked up like crazy over it, but there's so many things in this movie that are just like when Dan and Rick were sitting down writing the script for this, like I imagine that they were both really fucking high. Like, there's no way around it.
That would explain a lot.
I mean,
you would have to be at least marginally.
You are cutting out really bad.
All right. I go back to my phone. Son of a bitch! I tell you, I try to get this all.
It's okay. You're going good now. You're good now for some reason.
Are we good now? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I said I was going to go to my phone. It's gonna.
Right. So, anyways, you guys know how we feel about this movie. I will say online, people don't like our sense of humor as much, to say the least, because this movie does not have as good of a rating that me or Jeff has given it. This is actually a 3.8 rating that was given to this movie, and I mean, not a lot of like real reviews either. In fact, just because of being on here, I'm giving it a 10-star right now because I think it's earned it. I mean, just to skewer these results, But then again, I'm that asshole that's voting either all the way or all the way the other way. So I mean, I'm just but I mean, there's so much fun about this, and I'm trying to figure out if there's like the reviews on it are still pretty fucking fun too. I mean, people like this. They know it's the not Monsturd sequel. So I mean, a lot of the people who are actually on here talking about it, and I mean, we're getting reviews from 2008 to 2019. I mean, for pretty recent reviews on here. So it's kind of cool the fact that they're really going through this. I like this review though. This guy says zombies do eat a baby in this one. Tastes just like veal.
Oh,
So I mean, it's pretty cool. That's for sure.
Yeah, I decided to pull up the IMDb reviews. There's only 6. There are 2 10-star reviews, 10 out of 10. There's a 9-star review. It says, "At last, the sequel to Monsturd."
Yes.
There's a 6 out of 10. Monsturd sequel keeps it funny. A 3 out of 10 saying "Zombie Bomb." And then, do you want to guess what the title of the 2 out of 10 review says?
Sad.
Yes, sad.
I've been on there already too. Like
And then I read it and I'm like, did you watch with an open mind, or did you go in making up your mind ahead of time? Because
dude, nobody paid attention to this one when it came out. I mean,
I'm
it, it just
I'm
is what it
thinking,
is.
yeah, I'm thinking this review's February 2019. So yeah, 11 years later, somebody reviewed it. I'm like, you reviewed it with 2019 mindset.
Right, which does not work out,
No, no, you have to. It's
unfortunately.
like I said, if you want to go back and watch old episodes of In Living Color, you got to go back to like what the humor was in the 90s. Go back to how you were if you're old enough to have watched it when it was on television. I'm certain there's a number of you going, "What's In Living Color?" And I cry for you at night.
I don't want
I
to be your
cry for
friend
you.
either. No. Well, I mean, the, it is unfortunate that we don't have things the way that they used to be. I guess, I mean, there's a lot of really cool things that we are missing out on because of the way everything is, and this is one of those that I
Mhm.
feel could get a lot more airplay if it wasn't.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
definitely.
it's a fun movie. I mean, I honestly, I don't think I can say anything really bad about it. It's a product of its time, yeah, but it's not horrible. There's a lot of fun to be had in this one.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of independent films that I've walked away from going, okay, I'm glad I watched it to have an opinion on it, but I did not enjoy it.
Right.
This one, I enjoyed myself. I mean, yeah, I gave it a rating right down the middle. That's mostly just because I think the story was pretty much just like, here you go. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
not knocking the writers at all. I think it's just this wasn't, it wasn't meant to be some epic film. So the story didn't really need to be that great. But some beats where I'm like, how did we get to this point? Such as the sexually aggressive dancing zombies. I I don't know. Were they mechanics? I don't know. They were like in a garage or something. I don't
I
know.
mean,
Or a
like
factory, like steel workers, maybe. I don't know.
they were just no. I mean, they just look like horrors. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just went down the street and been like, okay, well, got $200. Let's pick up 6 crack whores, and we're just gonna paint them. And I don't know how they did it.
I
I don't know.
I
Like,
actually thought that scene was gonna get like so crazy that like it was gonna be them stripping off their clothes. We were gonna see nudity. No, no, we didn't see
the
any
only
nudity.
nudity we see is a fake nipple of Rick
One
Popcorn.
obviously fake
It's a
nipple.
man. I mean,
It,
that's
when
some
that
of the
came on,
humor that's fucking great, though.
the whole scene of the two bumbling cops in the adult store when
Yeah,
they're tracking the weenie wagger. I'll say it again. I don't give a fuck at this point. The weenie wagger. He's jerking off in front of women. Okay,
yeah, and
it's
that
it's
is the weenie
gross,
wagger.
but
I mean,
that whole thing, he shoots him with a dick gun. They're looking at the dildos. One guy puts on a gimp mask. He wears the gimp mask around the store.
I
Like,
mean,
oh, teenage transvest, whatever, with teenage transsexuals. I'm like, what? Which, credit to them, they did not have a joke about that. The guy looked at it with teenage transsexuals and just put it back on the shelf. Like, not really my thing. I'm like, all right, okay.
yeah, yeah.
No joke about it. It was just, yeah.
I will say one of the things, because like a lot of these movies are on Tubi, but people out there like Dan West and Rip Popko need to know that their fans do appreciate them. I did go ahead and post off their Amazon link for Monsturd, it's a novel.
The
So the screen,
novelization of Monster.
yes. Um, Dan West has told me about it before, and he's working on other projects too, and other books. So I mean, if you ever feel inclined to check out any of the work by Dan West, or Rick Popko, I strongly suggest doing whatever you can to help support these men in their filmmaking ventures. They're fucking two of the greatest people to begin with. I mean, I can see why they probably don't want to talk about some of the stuff that they've worked on.
Right.
It makes perfect sense, but there's there's a lot of comedy gold there. If you want to admit it or not, there really is. There's some funny shit.
I mean, the two bumbling cops alone are worth it because they're just two bumbling idiots.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're the ones watching the porn, apparently, research to find the weenie wagger. I don't know how it ties into that, but they're both watching it like, what is this shit?
Right. By the way, I should add in there that there is a Kindle version of that book, and it is Monsturd, a novel of fecal terror. I really felt the need to share that, say it out loud.
Bravo. A novel of fecal terror.
It's
I will never not love a good poop joke like that. Oh my god. I might have to buy that.
right. No, I the way the description of it sounds great. So I'm just gonna read the first sentence of this. Just when FBI agent Susan Hannigan thought she had flushed away escaped serial killer Jack Schmidt once and for all in the sewers of Butte County. By the way, Butte County is spelled Butte. So,
I am familiar. It is in California.
does it have screenshots of the movie? I'm not sure, but if you want to watch the movie Monsturd, I believe that might. I'm not sure if that's on Tubi, but I know for sure it's on YouTube for free.
I don't know. I have Tubi readily available here. I think. Oh
I'm
no, I
looking
don't.
at it. It says it's on Tubi.
There you go.
So
We could do a double feature.
double feature Monsturd and RetarDEAD.
Watch them in order so you understand exactly what's going on.
Yeah, you can't watch these out of order, otherwise it literally makes no sense.
Yeah. And I feel bad that I didn't take the time to watch Monsturd ahead of time again so I could remember
Did you?
that happened. No, I slacked off. I forgot until this morning that I had to watch the movie. I was like, oh, it's gonna be so fun on the podcast. And I went, oh fuck, I gotta watch the movie.
No, it's I will admit to watching Monsturd probably more than anybody should watch Monsturd. I guarantee I have seen it probably about 30 or 40 times, but it's it's a great movie. I can't think of anything bad about the movie. Even this one is it's a fun sequel. I'm trying to think of other sequels that are just as fun. There's not many.
Yeah, there are. There's a group of people out there who tell me that Return of the Living Dead 2 is supposed to be as fun as the original, and I tell them it's basically the original redone with a shittier story and kids that annoy the fuck out of me.
Right.
And they're like, "You just don't get it." I'm like, "No, I get it. Having Tom Matthews and James Cameron come back doesn't make a good movie."
Right. Now, this might be a little too extreme, but RetarDEAD might be Rick and Dan's Empire Strikes Back. Their sequel that was just perfect. It's a great sequel.
I can see why you would say that. It's just anything that they could have done better in Monsturd, they were able to better execute in this one, if my memory serves correctly. But
how do you up Monsturd?
How do you one up basically taking the story of something similar like Jack Frost, turning it into a shit monster?
Turning it into a feature that has a sequel. Those are some pretty incredible feats there.
Yeah. And also, me say
That's
this.
great.
I enjoyed Monsturd much more than I enjoyed Jack Frost or Jack Frost 2.
Jack Frost 2 is a really bad movie.
Jack Frost 2 is it's hmm,
I
I don't
remember
think
when
there's a
we
movie
watched it on the
equivalent
show. I
for it.
think I wished somebody's death. Like it was a really bad watch.
I remember Leanne and I watched it together, and we were just trying. We were like, "What the fuck is happening?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
what
it's
is
not good.
this?
It's
Like,
not good.
oh, we're on a tropical island, the exact same people from the first one. Like, oh,
Yeah.
the antifreeze should keep him, but then oh, there's something. I'm like, this is stupid. What? Like the first one was dumb, but you're like, okay, I get it. Killer snowman, fine.
Right.
It's like, what? How much crack was smoked to do the sequel? 'Cause it doesn't.
You know what? It's funny because comparing these two series, because that's kind of like what they're Monsters based off of. I will say RetarDEAD is hands down a significantly better movie than Jack Frost 2.
At least the story is cohesive. I mean, yeah, there's some things where I didn't understand, like the zombies at the factory surrounding the doctor. Uh, Scenes of the FBI agent saying she's going to do something, then she's running through the city. I'm like, where did I don't even know where the cut came from, how you got there, but okay. I'm willing to set those aside and be like, okay, you can't get everything explained in a movie. I get it.
Right. Well, I mean,
But at
if you
least
wouldn't have
from
put
beginning to
40
end,
minutes of fake ads in there, you probably could have put a little bit more explanation.
possibly, but maybe they were like, we're not looking to explain what she's doing. It's one FBI agent. Why would she do anything by the book at this point? She's out
Yeah,
there by
she
herself.
made it very clear that she wasn't going to do it by the book.
Yeah, yeah. And also the CDC, I love the representation of the CDC. Guys just walking around with a bucket that has a biohazard label, just open container walking around, like, oh, here you go. Like,
Well, I
oh,
mean, they really show the
okay.
stupidity of a lot of this shit. So,
Yeah, that's before we came on, I said I think the name of the movie might speak more to those who aren't affected by the virus as to those who are,
yeah,
because the
for
cops are
sure.
pretty inept. The FBI agent, she's kind of got a handle on things, but she doesn't really take charge of the situation. She just kind of follows along with the local sheriff.
Right.
I don't know, medical chainsaw being wielded by the
Yeah, yeah.
pervert.
David says, I would sure love to see a sequel to the 2010 movie Frozen. At the end of that movie, isn't everybody, the ones who are still alive, they're good to go?
I mean, I don't. At this point, we should all just let it go.
Different Frozen.
All right, it's been nice, everybody. This is the last time I'll be here. Thank you.
You know, it's funny you say that 'cause, I mean, it's basically time to wrap this up. I
I mean,
mean, we are literally just one word away from just saying everything about this movie, and that's the one word we're not allowed to say.
yeah, yeah. I've been. That's why it was like my earlier. My thoughts may have been incoherent and a little rambly, but that's me off the cuff, not scripting out what I want to say. Trying to do this without running over those words.
I mean, it's hard. I mean,
I mean,
those it's really hard.
I'm gonna say the scene where the cops initially catch the pervert, Herbert the pervert as he's called, our weenie wagger. When they just tackle him and start beating him with a nightstick. I know I said I
Yeah,
wasn't gonna bring it up, but like then it'd be like, oh man, police assault. This like still would have been kind of touchy then, but you would have
yeah,
laughed a lot more. I think I would have laughed a lot harder back then than I did now. Because right now I was laughing and then I was like, well, at least it's a white guy beating another white guy.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
The dick gun also. We didn't mention
the
the
dick
dick
gun,
gun.
the dick gun, knocking the guy into a rack of movies.
Right.
They just
Uh,
destroy this guy's
yeah.
adult video store, then just leave.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else we can mention. I think the last thing that we can mention that's not too offensive is Officer Dan when he's hiding his wife. He does it the only way that you can hide your wife. You knock her out, you put her in a duffel bag, and then you throw her body into a fucking closet, shut the door,
Yes.
and you never see her again.
Never again. Never again.
Never-
Never again. We get to the end. The top 40 DJ gives us the information that it's just a 48-hour virus, and they go, "Well, hate to be us tomorrow," and then they just laugh.
That's the other movie.
What the other thing I liked was that little wraparound thing we got, the little narrative going on through the movie of this little girl telling her
Well,
dad.
that's a Monsturd.
Yeah, she's telling you like, "Hey, the doctor didn't die," so she's retelling you what's going on
Oh
for
yeah,
this movie. And then at
it's
the end, the
very
guy's
much
like,
so like it's like this is one of those things that makes it just as iconic as movies before it that done the same thing, like Princess Bride. In 50 years, people are going to be looking back like, well, what are some really, really good iconic movies? We got Princess Bride, we got RetarDEAD. You know, I mean, it's just the way it's going to be. Any
"Yeah,
movie that does that, I mean, that always ends up being one of those that's remembered.
I didn't even think about the Princess Bride connection until you said it, and I'm like, duh, that's exactly what this is." Because they break in several times with that. He's like, "Wait a minute, well, I thought," she's like, "No, here's what's
Exactly.
going on."
Yeah.
But the end, when he goes, "It's a pretty dumb way to end a movie," and she goes, "Right," and then there's just like a flash. She goes, "Ah," and credits with a song that we could not play.
Why don't you go ahead and sing this song?
No, I remember I heard that song back around 2008 when this was coming out on a different podcast that I was listening to at the time. And I remember
Yeah.
the group was split. Some of them were laughing and some of them were like, "Oh, no, 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 no." Like, we can't watch that. And if you do, I can't be on the show because I can't handle that. I'm like, okay. Now looking back, I'm like, yeah, I can see why people would be like, nope. At least I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't be able to watch it.
Yeah. I mean,
The
you
humor,
do.
the humor is very solid in this. I mean, despite
Right.
the offensive content, the humor overall that's not it's brilliantly done. I mean, go into it with zero expectations and you'll come out having a good time.
Oh, yeah. I agree completely.
Yeah.
I will say though, the one of the cool things about this is according to IMDb, we're looking at like under a $500,000 budget.
Wow. To get a helicopter explosion like that in under $500,000, I mean that sounds like like I'm shitting on it, but I was actually like waiting. I'm like, wait, what's gonna happen? The helicopter pilot just coughing on his cigar and
Right.
blowing himself up.
No, no, no. I get it. I get it. Um, yeah. I mean,
You know
oh,
what?
what can you do? Oh,
Fuck it. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna give it the same. I'm going 6.5. Fuck it.
you're like you want more? I
My
think
score
about
is increased.
I
The
will
more I
go
think
ahead.
about this,
I have to throw this out there too for everybody who wants to check it out. This is the soundtrack for Retarded. And Jeff, I will send that to you on your personal account for you.
all right.
But I
Yeah,
found it on was it their their last .fm. So you guys are
okay.
welcome.
You can give it a listen for yourselves. It will. I will not recite the lyrics here,
You're welcome.
but yeah, you're welcome. It's a present from us to you.
Somebody's really gonna hate me.
That is possibly what's going to get the both of us canceled. So next week, Tales of the Cancellation.
Right? Want to see how far we can push it next week? No.
Oh,
It'll be
jeez.
hard to find a movie that has more offensive shit in it than this one.
What are we going to do? The Ringer?
I mean, I will say personally that The Ringer approaches a very similar subject
I
with a
actually
lot
really
less offense.
I actually really enjoyed The Ringer. I didn't think it was offensive at all. And there were people actually saying, no, this movie's not offensive. It kind of lets you see exactly how things are. People
Right.
within that community were saying that.
Right. And
So
back in 2008, I would argue that they would also say the same thing about this one.
I think so.
And there you have it, guys.
RetarDEAD. It's
RetarDEAD.
it's it's a special movie, and I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm saying it as, you know what, I recommend you just see it.
Yeah.
Forget your 2023 wokeness right now and step back a little bit.
Right.
Let your,
Right.
we all laugh at stupid, offensive, crazy, non PC shit. So you know what? Take a day off
Right.
from warrioring
Since
from
since
everyone
since
else,
we're not
and
allowed to go and check out freak shows no more. Probably shouldn't have said it like that.
well, I mean, let's be honest. We kind of can just go into any Walmart at a certain time of day, and
Yeah, but I mean, it's not the same. I mean, the closest thing we
yeah,
get
I
is like
mean,
occasionally you can catch midget wrestling.
I will say there used to be a homeless woman right
What'd
around
you
the
do
area
to
where I
her?
live. Oh, I didn't do anything, but it was pretty much a bearded lady.
Huh? Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen one. I had a
yeah.
teacher that was kind of like that.
She would stand outside, right in front of the grocery store, this Jack in the Box, and beg for money. And she had a beard almost as full as mine at times.
Wow.
The people at the
No
grocery
pictures?
store, I no, I didn't
Uh,
have a camera phone or a
it's,
camera at the
it's
time
okay.
to take photos. I just steered clear because she also had crazy eyes. But the people at the grocery store said she would come in and with money buy razors for her face, razors and shaving cream for her face.
Maybe it was a man.
Oh no, this was a woman.
Are you sure?
100% positive because
It's hard to tell sometimes.
somebody I know actually
Fucked her,
asked
huh?
the question.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was like,
I know
why?
somebody who
Like,
fucked her.
I was like, oh god, oh god, oh, oh.
It's like, yeah, my buddy Joe, he fucked the homeless
Okay,
bearded lady
okay,
at the Jack in the Box.
that's more offensive than retarded. Oh, oh.
All right, I need to get off here before I get myself in trouble.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
a
yeah. I
spiral. It's just gonna hit that point at some point there. I mean, yeah. Jeff, why don't you tell people where they can find you? I mean, obviously we got Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, but I mean, how's your Patreon going?
I've actually just put up another Patreon. It's talking about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I
Ah,
think was that it. Actually, I don't even remember which one it was. Shit, I don't know what I put up on my own Patreon. Anyway, it's either that or Obi-Wan Kenobi. I recorded like 4 of them, so it's one of those. I've got more coming up. So transmissions
nice.
episodes are on Patreon. Nobody's taken the bait yet, but I still try, because it don't cost me anything to put them up there.
Right. Hey, and
So
then
one day, one
if
day,
you ever just missing content on the regular show, that's when you just I'm gonna pull this one off of there, and I'm just gonna throw this out there so I have an episode this
just
week.
throw it in there. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, fuck
But yeah,
it.
Patreon. I just do what I call transmissions, just little asides for stuff that maybe isn't fair for the show, or stuff that I watch on my own. Like, probably going to talk about the Mandalorian season 3, but I've got stuff on there talking about wrestling, whatever else doesn't fit the
Right.
scope of the podcast. So you just go over to Patreon, search for Skewered Universe Podcast, support us.
There you
We'd
go,
really
guys.
like it. It would be
You
fun
know,
if you did.
hey, I understand. I mean, I've been trying to get people to just donate to the PayPal account. Like, I
Yeah.
I've offered to send them pictures of Chuck nude before. I mean, I offered to start an OnlyFans for Ron. I mean, I've tried to flat out sell Ron.
Uh,
So, I mean, it's, I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't.
maybe that's where the money is. Maybe I need to start an OnlyFans. All right, OnlyFans.
There you go. Hey, I'm telling you, man, that's where the big bucks are.
No, nobody's gonna want that OnlyFans.
You just got to make it interesting.
It'll just be me ranting about shit I can't talk about on the
Well,
podcast.
I mean,
People that piss me off.
you guys got to do it in a sexual manner. Like, listen to
So
Jeff
just
rant while he jerks it.
I thought I'd just be topless, like
Just stop.
rubbing ice cubes on my nipples or something, but
I mean, you probably could get away with that. I mean,
I mean it's
I'm not going to say it's a 1999 account. I mean, you find your right price mark, you'll be good.
$1.99 a month is probably
Right. You'll be
right
really
around.
disappointed. You're going to sign in there one day. You're going to have like 200 subscribers. But what the fuck?
Like,
You know, look, it's
shit.
like they're all old dudes. It's like, fuck.
What is this DJT? What is that? Love your nipples. Exquisite.
God.
What the
All
fuck?
right.
Anyway, you know what? You know where to find the podcast. You've heard me talk about it here. Go find it. You know what? Let me tease this. Starting in April, we're going to be doing a Nightmare on Elm Street retrospective. I want to go back through the movies, kind of talk about what I loved about them. We're going to have some guests on, so tune in for that. It's going to be real fun. So next month,
It's
Nightmare on
awesome.
Elm Street retrospective, one of my favorite franchises, just behind the Nightmare on Elm Street shit. That's what I'm talking about. Friday the 13th. But that's the
Really?
shit I grew up on. So
So, would you say Friday the 13th is your favorite?
Friday the 13th is my favorite. Then Nightmare and Halloween are pretty equal.
Really?
And then it's hard
Interesting.
because at any given
Interesting.
day, they can switch. But as of right now, it's Friday. The only reason I like Friday is because they're just dumb fun. You don't really need to pay attention to the
I
story
get
in any of them.
it. My number one has always been my number one series, and the rest can vary from day to day. But out of all of them, this is one of the only series where it's like everything is fucking solid.
Mhm.
And dude, Phantasm.
Phantasm is great.
I mean, I
I
fucking love
have
it.
yet to see the last one, but I've
Oh,
seen all the others, and
they're all great. I mean, there's nothing bad I can say about any of them. They're fun fucking movies. The tall
these
man is
are
the perfect
oh,
villain.
so perfect, and they're just weird and so crazy, and that's what I love about it.
It's just a
Like I,
hint of the spookiness.
the first time I saw the first one, I was like, "This isn't scary as oh, boo, things are scary." It's scary as in I don't know what's happening, and I am so disoriented.
It's a mental mind fuck.
Exactly.
And it's great. It's fucking amazing. I love it. He did a good job, you know?
Oh man, I remember those spheres used to scare me because Phantasm used to play on one of the local stations here,
Yeah.
late at night, when they could get away with oh, we're gonna show you the scene where the guy's head fountains blood when he gets skewered by a sphere. So I saw that, and then I used to get scared because there was a local station whose logo was the number 5, and then there was a sphere flying through,
Yeah.
which reminded me of Phantasm, and I was just nope.
No.
As a kid, I'm like, nope, nope.
Too scary. Too
But I
scary.
stayed up too late watching all this shit. So Freddy was in my nightmares, Jason was in my nightmares, and I was a big pussy, but I still sought it out. And here
Right.
we are today.
Right. Hey, I mean, it could always be worse. I mean, I'll be honest. I think Chucky was one of the first ones to scare me. I was born in '88, to be fair.
Okay.
And I mean, I saw Chucky the first time. I was probably like 4 or 5 years old. Saw Child's Play.
I
You
could
know,
do it.
yeah,
I
it's
could
been
do it.
fun. I mean, I still don't really care for
Yeah.
dolls very much.
The first one that I remember seeing that really freaked me out was Gremlins. My parents rented it because it was one of the
I
first. It was
never
one of the
thought of
first
that as a
ones.
horror movie. To me, it
When
was
they
like a
started,
Christmas movie.
yeah, but it was when they started to transform and change from cute little mogwai into gross reptilian gremlins that I was like,
Right.
nope, and hit around the side of the TV.
No, I get it, dude. I mean, when it's funny because when I think of Christmas movies, it's different than most. Like when you think of Christmas movies, what are your top two?
Die Hard and Gremlins.
All right, Gremlins and Ernest Saves Christmas.
Ernest Saves Christmas is definitely in my top 5.
I mean, to me, it's like, is there another Christmas movie? Like, I mean, American Psycho, maybe.
See, not in any. I always forget American Psycho takes place around Christmas. I
Exactly. It's
always
just as
forget
much of a
that.
Christmas movie as Die Hard. So fuck people say it's not. There's just a
Yeah,
lot.
American Psycho,
The,
also a
the,
Christmas movie, so it may have to change. But at any given time, like the 5 Christmas movies I think of in no particular order: Die Hard, Gremlins, Lethal Weapon. I'm trying to think now. I had others, and well, those 3. But there was 5 I was thinking of, and then when you mentioned American Psycho, it threw me off.
just fucked up. It's like, damn, that is a Christmas movie. What the
Yeah, because
fuck?
now I remember the scene of him wearing the stupid antlers and just being so pissed off.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just as much of a Christmas movie as Die Hard. I don't care.
It happens around Christmas time.
I know.
Although I will argue there's a little more to do with overcoming adversity in Die Hard to try and get to his family to spend Christmas with them. He is coming to LA to spend the holiday with his family in Die Hard, so I will argue a little bit, but we're not going to get into that debate tonight. So
No.
I could keep us here for another hour ranting about this shit and pissing
You
you off.
Wait till Christmas time. We'll do this at Christmas. Because I
There you
think for
go.
Christmas this year, I think I'll do American Psycho.
Oh, nice.
And just to
Nice.
make people really happy, I will not do American Psycho 2.
Oh God.
You're welcome.
I watched that thinking, okay, more of, and I went, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Usually when you think back, it's like, Mila Kunis. No.
Yeah, you're like, I was like,
William
okay, she's.
Shatner. It's like, he did a better job on his Christmas CD.
I mean, William Shatner.
Yeah.
Then that's what I knew when I saw that. I'm like, okay, now I know what level we're at here. I know what we're going for.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
like American Psycho is one of those films that's just lightning in a bottle. You cannot remake it and do it the same way. You cannot sequelize it. There's nothing, and they did, and it doesn't make any fucking
It's
sense.
trash. Yeah. I mean, whatever though. At least we got it. The first one's a Christmas movie, so we'll be talking about that this year. I'm just, whatever. That's what's gonna happen. I mean, I'm out of good Christmas movies. I mean, I've already done Ernest. I've done Black Christmas. I've done Silent Night, Deadly Night.
You
what do I got
started
left?
off hitting the highs. Oh, Black Christmas is another one that was in the top.
The original. The second
original,
sequel
yeah.
is not horrible either. There's second sequel, second remake. Technically the first remake isn't bad. The second remake, the one that Jason Blum did, total fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, I haven't
That's
seen
part
that
of the
one
reason I hate Jason Blum. Like every day I wake up and do my own little like daily thing of like, I really hope this guy gets hit by a car.
Lighting a candle at the altar of death for Jason Blum.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes
Please. I have no qualms, but I haven't if I have, I don't know which ones they are, so I don't know how many of the Blumhouse movies I've seen. So everything that I have seen that I know has come from them, I'm not too upset with. And probably a controversial take. One of the
like
last
Firestarter?
ones I haven't seen Firestarter. I refuse. I haven't even seen the original yet, so
okay. All right.
I refuse to see that one until I see the original. But I actually enjoyed the new Halloween series, and I thought Ends was just fine. I didn't think that they did anything. My own opinion, I don't think they did anything to take away from Myers. It was, it was fine. I mean, is it going to change the direction of horror? No. Is it going to piss a lot of people off with what it did? Diehards? Of course. I hold Halloween in high regard, the original. I like the sequels, as stupid as they ended up. These are no different than those 90s sequels, really, when you think about it. They all did a lot of stupid shit. I mean, the Ritual of Thorn, let's not forget that shit. All right. It was never that great. And people that are like, oh, that was the highlight of the whole series. I'm like, stop it. The highlight of the original Halloween series was Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Let's get that straight right now. Because Tom Atkins, okay? The original
I love
and 3.
Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch is awesome. I hated it for a long time after the first time I watched it. And then when I realized exactly what it was and the history behind it, I was like, okay, let me give this another watch. And I fucking love it. anyone who was on that bandwagon of, oh, I hate it, it doesn't have Michael, shut the fuck up and go watch it again. Anyway, rant over. I'm done.
Right.
I'm
Right.
done.
No,
Sorry,
no,
man. I keep going. I keep going.
you were good. But just to give you a small little idea, like Cam, Fantasy Island,
Oh, Fantasy Island
Amityville,
sucked.
The Awakening. I
I
mean,
haven't seen Amityville: The Awakening. I'm not a big Amityville guy. The
the,
original's fine. The remake was.
the remake of Martyrs.
See, another movie I don't think should have ever been remade. The original was. Okay, I'm not going to say that I enjoyed the original, as in it was entertaining. I enjoyed it as far as
Green
it was a
Inferno.
captivating watch, but it was fucked up as hell.
Well, just to give you a small idea here, he is remaking another one, and tell me if it should ever be remade, because he's gonna fuck it up. He's gonna fuck up something I love. The Exorcist.
I remember you bringing that up, and from what I've read, it's more of a sequel. So hopefully,
don't matter. He needs to get his hands out of the shit I like. I don't know. I've wished it so many times. Why can't just somebody hit him with the car? Like,
see,
my odds should be higher for that than winning the lottery.
See, what you need is one of those Dybbuk boxes, because then, then it would actually, you'd be able to wish these things upon people, and it would happen.
You're not wrong.
That, or you need to find an old gypsy to curse an item of theirs and give it to them, and then Lamia will come hunt them down and drag them to hell.
Right.
Yeah, I love Drag Me to Hell. Fuck anyone who doesn't like that movie. It's fucking awesome.
First off, that is a great movie, but I'm a huge Raimi fan. I mean, that should be no surprise. I mean,
and people were like, that movie was dumb. I'm like,
they're dumb.
Like,
whoever said that's dumb, they should have
like,
been in this movie retarded.
Like, there was too much humor. I'm like, have you seen Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness? Have you seen any of those?
The first Evil Dead is
there's really no humor in it.
That is a fucking horror movie perfection. I love that movie.
And then 2 is like, okay,
horror comedy gold.
It is horror comedy gold. And then Army of Darkness, that's the first one I saw, so it holds a special place in my heart.
It's funny because when I talked to Dana De Lorenzo, she said the exact same thing. Nice. I mean, just look on the YouTube, you'll see it. That's exactly what she said. And
I even enjoyed the
this movie so much.
I don't want to say remake of Evil Dead, but the newer version where they're like tying it in. So it's kind of got me excited for Evil Dead Rise.
I'm excited for Rise. I will say that I did see a whole thing that went through, and basically, how Bruce is done with the role.
Mm-hmm.
He did end up, talking about how if Raimi ever came back to do it, he would do it again. So here's the hoping for another Raimi Evil Dead.
If we could get one last one, even if, and I'm going to say this and people are probably going to get pissed off, even if it's Raimi deciding to kill off Ash and pass the torch on to someone else to take up the fight.
So there can be like a proper torch. What they would have to do is
just having a finalization for that character if he does decide to kill off Ash, or send him off into the sunset. Everything is taken care of. He doesn't have to fight anymore. Something like that to close out Ash's arc. I'd be okay with that, especially if it's Bruce Campbell coming back. Because
I would just like to see a proper ending to Ash versus Evil Dead. And I mean, you could do that in like a 2-part, 17-hour movie thing. I'd be happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
17 hours though.
Yeah.
I want a lot of content. But anyways, dude, we gotta wrap this shit up.
Yeah, holy shit. Oh man.
Yeah.
It's late,
but
bro.
Anyways, oh no, you're good. Guys, check him out. Follow everything with Jeff. Go to his Instagram, his Facebook, his MySpace, his OnlyFans, which is coming soon. If you like icy hairy nipples, you are gonna love what Jeff is doing on OnlyFans. Did I miss anything?
No, it's pretty much it. I mean, you can I don't know. Find me on Friend. I think I still have a Friendster. Maybe there's an Angel Fire page that I still have out there somewhere,
All right. Hey, there you go. I mean,
AIM, you can message me on AIM.
Right. Can I give out your phone number?
Sure, sure.
It's like, what? I did that to somebody once. They were not happy with me. I will throw that out there.
I could give it to you to give out, and I would change it the second I started getting too many
I
numbers.
made a fake, not a fake, it's a real one, but I have a virtual one just for the show stuff. So I mean, I get it. But
I thought about that. I had a second number for a while, the Google number, and I was like, "Do I use it for the show?" Then I was like,
see?
"Nah, I'm not gonna do it."
I messed up though because business cards, I actually put my real phone number on those.
Oh,
Yeah, that one was like, and I didn't order like this many. I ordered a couple boxes.
yes. When you hand those out,
Yeah, think about it all the time. Because I mean, one convention is usually about 100, 200 cards. Is what it is, though. I mean,
yeah. I mean, hey,
what can you do?
hey, it could be worse. You could still have a landline and be giving out that number by accident.
I mean, that could be worse. That could be. But anyways, we're gonna get out of here. You heard it from us, guys. Tubi, check out RetarDEAD.
Definitely check it out.
It's more fun than you would expect. And with that being said, the crypt is closed.
Thanks for listening, kiddies. You're all a scream.